Stop, drop, cover, and hold.
When we think of kids preparing for earthquakes at school, we usually think of them diving under their desks to stay safe. But this is only part of it. The question we often don't think about: will some school buildings collapse? What about schools in tsunami zones without enough time to evacuate to higher ground? A basic assessment by state geologists finds that 72% of public schools are in a high to very high risk zone just based on their proximity to a fault line.
What early investments give us the most knowledge about where our school kids could potentially be at risk? And that's a very important thing.
School seismic safety is a key topic before Governor Inslee, as his cabinet of experts meets to help make the state more disaster resilient. It begins with this sobering reminder.
In addition to the Cascadia subduction zone, Washington's mainland is crisscrossed with active crustal faults.
The state is beginning to move. The legislature just passed more than $1 million to begin the earthquake assessment of the school buildings themselves. But at these funding levels, it would take a century to perform a comprehensive study of them all.
It could take 100 or so years to do comprehensive analyses of all school buildings across Washington state, and that's a long time.
Karina Forson is the state's chief hazards geologist, and it's all a moving target.
We learn about new faults all the time, and so this is not you've solved it, you can check the box problem. This is a continual update, every year, every 5 years, every 10 years, as we learn more and more about the geology of Washington.
At the meeting, Scott Black with the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction.
We need this done. We need to protect the children. We need safer schools.
Now, some schools are old, unreinforced brick buildings which are particularly vulnerable in earthquakes. More broadly, the governor's panel is addressing the wider issue of these older masonry buildings. More than 1,000 in Seattle alone, with perhaps 185,000 earthquake-vulnerable structures statewide. Live in the newsroom, Glenn Farley, King 5 News.